Today, the Moonshot Pact Convention started in earnest. Between today and tomorrow, 7 opposition political parties will be engaged in a series of talks where they will discuss a number of issues and also the terms of agreements for their newfound partnership. Now, the aim of these talks is that for these parties to create a coalition that aims to wrestle power away from the ANC after next year's general elections. Where some parties within the Moonshot Pact who feel that more political parties need to join the Moonshot Pact for it to stand a realistic chance of having a governing coalition. However,
some senior ANC leaders have accused President Cyril Ramaphosa of working with external parties to collapse the governing party and replace it with a centre-right coalition led by him after the 2024 general elections. They claim the president and his business allies were going out of their way to privatize state-owned enterprises and destroy black-owned companies funded by the Public Investment Corporation, PIC, as part of a bigger plot to turn voters against the ANC in favor of a coalition of almost all opposition parties except Julius Malema's EFF. This comes as the government this week placed cash-strapped National Carrier SAA under business rescue. For ANC National Executive Committee, NEC, members told the Sunday Independent that the party's top 6 officials confronted Ramaphosa at a meeting 2 weeks ago about his alleged negative attitude towards black-owned companies and the use of the PIC to destroy them. ANC National Spokesperson Piet and Treasurer General Paul Mahasha did not respond to requests for comment. Ramaphosa's spokesperson, Kusila Diko, referred all queries to the ANC. "I do not speak on ANC matters. Please may I request that you speak to the ANC spokesperson," she said. Zolani Dube, a political analyst at the Zubura Institute, said he was aware of murmurings within the ANC about Ramaphosa allegedly working with outsiders to collapse the governing party. He said the root of unhappiness with Ramaphosa's presidency within his own party was a perception that he ruled at the behest of the mining energy complex, a clique of powerful and wealthy families in the country, including the Oppenheimers and the Ruperts. "It's not even a center-right, but a right-wing coalition," Dube said. "Remember, there was that plan of 2017, where the ruling elites wanted the EFF and all the opposition parties to form the government of coalition. They tested that model in Tshwane, Nelson Mandela Bay and Johannesburg, and they noticed that this coalition was not working for them because the decisions were not made quicker and there was so much confusion," he said. The sources claimed that the plan to kill the ANC entailed the following: sign all long-term Eskom, SAA and Transnet contracts this year or by early next year, sell off state assets to pre-selected private partners, put SAA into business, rescue and eventually terminate all its contracts, sell SAA to either Etihad Airways or a European airline, take control of key development finance institutions such as the National Empowerment Fund, NEF, the Development Bank of Southern Africa, DBSA, and the Industrial Development Corporation, IDC, through allies to redirect funds, starve the ANC of resources by not awarding state contracts to black businesspersons who are its main funders, charge or use state institutions to investigate political opponents to keep them busy with criminal cases and subsequently to financially constrain them, elevate Ramaphosa above the ANC, so that if the ANC lost support, he could emerge as the undisputed leader of a center-right coalition of opposition parties, excluding the EFF, after the 2024 general elections.
ANC Secretary General Mahasha is expected to hand himself over to the Hawks this morning ahead of his appearance in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. Mahasha is expected to be charged with fraud and corruption in connection with the irregular awarding of the 255 million rand asbestos contract while he was Premier of
Hello
the
and welcome to BBC News. In the past few hours, it's been announced that South Africa's top court has sentenced the former president, Jacob Zuma, to 15 months in jail for contempt of court.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has now officially fired Busisiwe Mkhwebane as public protector. The embattled advocate was informed of his sacking through a letter from the president. Ramaphosa removed Mkhwebane from office, citing incompetence and misconduct.
Destroy independent media and the Public Protector's Office. Take full control of the media and drive a single and positive narrative about the country and its leaders, and make sure there is no mass-based movement that can challenge the new hegemony. A senior ANC leader, who supported Ramaphosa at Nasrec, accused the president's business allies of pushing him to adopt economic policies that were opposed to those of the governing party. We are selling everything now. By the time we wake up, we would have nothing to show as a country. We will have only Luthuli House, said the NEC member. Another NEC member claimed he was lied to about the economic trajectory. They denied that they planned to sell any SOE. Now they want to destroy Independent and the Public Protector. Because they have shattered the myth of CR as a corruption buster, and his New Dawn administration as the fighters of state capture. ANC sources said Mahasha led the charge against Ramaphosa at a meeting of the party's top 6 officials a fortnight ago. He was supported by Deputy President David Mabuza, Secretary General Ace Magashule and his deputy, Jesse Duarte, they added. Chairperson Guide Mantesh is said to have defended Ramaphosa, saying it was unfair to accuse him of using the PIC to destroy black-owned companies because the asset manager had its board and managers who operated independently. Paul is the one who raised the issue, saying the president needed to explain to the top 6 what was happening because there was a view out there that he has a negative attitude towards black businesses, and that he used the PIC to destroy them. The president said he was not involved with PIC matters at all. Ace, DD and Jesse supported Paul while Guide came to the president's defense, said the source. In recent weeks Magashule and Duarte have been critical of the PIC publicly. Last week, Magashule lambasted the PIC, saying in an opinion piece that there was more to it. Spurious a liquidation application against Sekonjalo Independent Media then meets the eye because it made very little effort to tackle companies like Steinhoff, which cost it billions. 2 weeks ago, Duarte accused the government's asset manager of targeting Sekonjalo. On Thursday, SA appointed business advisor and turnaround specialist Les Matheson as its business rescue practitioner. It received R4 billion from the government after filing for voluntary business rescue, which is an insolvency protection mechanism. Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan said existing lenders would provide 2 billion rands while National Treasury would cover the balance. It must be clear that this is not a bailout. This is the provision of financial assistance in order to facilitate a radical restructure of the airline, Gordhan added. Weighing in on the government's decision to place SA under business rescue, Malema this week accused Ramaphosa of trying to sell the public's assets to his friends. Every little thing that we have as South Africans which we are proud of, this man is going to sell them to his white friends and that will be his legacy, Malema said on Gauteng Talk Radio station Power FM, adding that other SOEs like Eskom, Denel and airport company South Africa, AXA, awaited the same fate. Wits economics Professor Chris Mollikane said the government's decision to put SA under business rescue, and privatization in general, was unlikely to yield positive results because it was a superficial way of dealing with the problem. But the big thing that needs to be done is to unwind the contracts that have locked SAA to an unsustainable financial situation, and to review the country's aviation policy to ensure that SAA as a national carrier occupies a national space and a national market for it to be sustainable, Molekane said, adding that government officials must also be compelled to use SAA. Is it true that President Ramaphosa is working against his own party, the ANC? Could he be under the energy complex spell? Does he care about the African natives? Please leave your comment below. Do not forget to like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell.
The most important person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs.